All right, everybody, it is 7:30. I want to welcome everybody to the September City Council meeting, and it is time to call our meeting to order. We have a few items to get through tonight, so I want to thank everybody for turning out and being here. And we're going to get started with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and I'm going to ask everybody to stand. We're going to do that together, and then stay standing because Councilmember Page is then going to bless the meeting afterwards. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father God, we come to you tonight to simply give you thanks. We thank you for all the amazing blessings that you bestow upon our lives each and every day. And Lord, we thank you for this amazing city that you let us live in and let us lead. And Lord, we just thank you for that amazing fellowship that we have here in the city of Sugar Hill. Lord, of course, we want to extend some amazing blessings to the Harding family and their amazing celebration that we're going to be talking about here in a few minutes. That is such a blessing, and Lord, we just thank you for that. Of course, we want you to extend your hand over our youth council as they go out through this next year and as they go and serve our community and learn about our community and just love more and grow deeper with you and with our community folks. Lord, we also ask that you be with the Gober family as we recognize them once again. And thank you for all the amazing dedication that they brought to this city time and time again. Father, of course, we also want to lift up our first responders, our military, and all those folks that help keep us safe day in and day out. We don't thank them enough, and we just ask you continue to put your healing hand and your blessings upon them each and every day. Lord, we ask all these things in your most heavenly and holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Page. First order of business is approval of the minutes. That would be for the council meeting. And I apologize, we have to approve the agenda. I've done that 700 times since I've been the mayor, and I've forgotten to do that tonight. But we do need to approve the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? I'd have a motion to approve from Mr. Perkle. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Hicks. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. All right, now we can move forward. Next item of business is approval of the minutes. That would be for the council meeting and executive session on August the 11th, 2025, the work session on August the 4th, and the special called meeting on August 4th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the council meeting from August 11th, the work session from August 4th, and the special call meeting from August the 4th.
All right, I have a motion to approve the minutes from Mr. Hicks. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Avery. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Very good. Next, we'll move on to awards, presentations, and proclamations. And we have a couple of really very special ones tonight. For the first one, I'm going to turn my mic off up here, and I'm going to come up front to that microphone, and we're going to do a very special recognition. All right, can everybody hear me okay? Yep. You can come up if you want to. So, since I've lived in Sugar Hill for many, many years, one of the greatest privileges that I've had is getting to know the Harding family, mainly Bill and Kathy, because they are very active in the community. And then, through them, I was blessed to meet Bill's parents, and we have a very special proclamation for them tonight because they are celebrating their 80th wedding anniversary, or they did so on September the 1st, and that is just absolutely amazing. But you're going to find out some other things that are equally amazing. So I'm going to read the proclamation, and then we'll present it to you all, and then City Council would like to come up and take a picture with y'all if it's okay. But this is a proclamation celebrating the 80th anniversary of Bill and Mary Harding. Whereas Bill and Mary at the ages of 98 and 105 celebrated their 80th anniversary on September 1st, 2025. And whereas Mary and Bill have demonstrated an enduring commitment to one another, building a life together founded on mutual respect, love, and partnership. And whereas Bill and Mary were married at St. Joseph Church on September 1st, 1945, shortly after Bill's enlistment in the U.S. Army. Whereas Bill shipped out on, I missed one I wanted to talk a little bit about. They actually met in a box factory in Albany, New York, where they both worked. That's how they met each other. I'm always fascinated by where and how people meet each other. Whereas Bill shipped out on October 22nd, 1945, so after they were married, to the Pacific Theater and spent time serving in World War II in Okinawa and Nagasaki, Japan. And whereas for 8 decades, their marriage has served as an inspiring example to their family and friends, embodying the values of perseverance, devotion, and shared purpose. And whereas throughout their 80 years of marriage, Bill and Mary have contributed significantly to their family and friends in enriching the lives of those around them. And whereas their journey together is a testament to the power of a strong bond and a loving relationship, leaving a legacy of cherished memories and positive impact. And whereas the City of Sugar Hill wishes to publicly acknowledge and honor this remarkable milestone, celebrating the unwavering commitment and inspiring partnership of Mary and Bill Harding. Now, therefore, I, Brandon Hembry, Mayor of the City of Sugar Hill, on behalf of the entire City Council and all its citizens, do hereby proclaim September the 8th as Bill and Mary Harding Day in our city. Yeah. And we extend our warmest congratulations and best wishes to Mary and Bill on their 80th wedding anniversary. And we thank them for being an exemplary model of enduring love and dedication to their family and friends. Bill and Kathy, thank y'all. All right, so next I'm going to hand it over to Councilmember Anderson for another recognition.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Well, tonight, I have some remarks that I wrote down, mostly because I knew I would need the aid of the paper so that I can make it through this. So I'm just going to read this, and then I'd like Lindsay and Tommy to come up and say anything if they would like, if they choose, and then we'll have Council come up and take a quick picture. Today, on this beautiful 8th day of September, and it was a very beautiful day, and I think we're about to have a fantastic sunset, we gather not just as a community, but as a family bound by shared memories and an unbreakable spirit. We are here to pay tribute to one of our own, a true pillar of Sugar Hill, a woman whose vision and dedication wove the very fabric of who we are, Dawn P. Gober, Dawn P. Dawn P. was more than a resident. She was the heartbeat of our city, a lifelong advocate for our home. She poured her passion into her work on our downtown, fostering economic growth that lifted us all, and sparkling cultural events that bring joy and connection to every corner of our neighborhoods. Her tireless efforts in community development weren't just actions. They were a legacy of love, inspiring us to dream bigger and build stronger. I wanted to take time this evening to remember her and again recognize her contributions. Fittingly, just behind us, in the Dawn P. Gober Community Plaza, aptly named, Dawn P.'s love of bringing community together and community events make her a part of each event in the heart of our city. Dawn P. left us just over 9 years ago. At the time, I was chair of our Downtown Development Authority. We had just received new name tags shortly before her passing, and I've held on to those 2 name tags since, as a reminder of her legacy and her passion for our city. Tonight, as my time on City Council comes to an end, I pass those name tags to her 2 children, Lindsay and Tommy. Dawn P. would often tell me that her dream was to eat dinner downtown. That dream of hers is fulfilled by thousands today because of her vision and passion for our city all those years ago. Lindsay, Tommy, we honor your mom's legacy and love of Sugar Hill. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We remember one of her favorite sayings, God's got this. Thank you for continuing the legacy of Dawn P. and for all that you do for our community. No, it's, you know, the Dawn, I know, would be so proud of both of you, of what you do for our city, what you have made of your families and yourselves. I mean, it's just, it was an honor to know her as a friend. I can only imagine what it was for her to be your mom. So if you all want to say anything, feel free, but you don't have to. I totally, up to you.
No, I have to say thank you. So, Mayor, Council, all the work that you guys do and have done the Dawn P. Gober Day, the Dawn P. Gober Plaza, her marquee, that was one of the bright spots right before she passed. And So it is such a big deal to us that I can still take her granddaughters, and they got to cut the pool noodles to open up the splash pad. Because you didn't cut a ribbon at that time yet. We had pool noodles. And back at the time, Steve Edwards and the rest of council, they were in their flippers and their masks, and that was right after she passed. And it was such a happy memory and something that we can carry with us that you guys gave to us. Because she embodied, she loved Sugar Hill so much. I mean, sorry, I will keep this short, but I mean, I would be so embarrassed. We'd go out to dinner, and she would have to ask every single waiter or waitress, now, where do you live? And then as soon as she found out that they were from Sugar Hill, she'd talk about how much she loved it and ask them all their favorite things about it. And that's just how much she loved it. But she embodied servant leadership and engagement with the community. And so thank you again for doing this, because she didn't get to see all of this completed, but it was her dream. And just to see the community, everyone coming together, and for a place for everyone to love and to be proud of being from Sugar Hill. So thank you all. I appreciate it.
I wish I'd have went first. Mayor, council, people like y'all that made my mom love this city as much as she does. Did. Y'all have honored her. Y'all have loved our family. Y'all loved us through a hard time. And y'all are still giving back and still, keeping the Sugar Hill my mom loved alive. I just want to thank y'all.
Tommy and Lindsay, thank y'all for being here tonight. All right, next we'll move on to the last item under this section, and that'll be the oath of office to our new youth council members. And I am going to come up to do that with Mr. Hicks. Oh, sorry, Mr. Hicks, you want to speak first. There you go. Go for it.
Definitely, thanks, Mayor. I couldn't pick today couldn't be a better day to actually induct and speak about the Youth Council following the legacy and the life of Mr. and Mrs. Hartman and Don P. Gober. Is just really just setting the way for these future leaders that we have today. So I wrote down a couple things just so I can kind of keep on task as well. So today, Victoria, Madison, and I, we have the privilege of welcoming the returning and the new Youth Council. These young leaders weren't just picked, they were chosen amongst a slate of competitive candidates. That means they beat out some of the brightest and the most ambitious young minds that I think that I've seen. And to be honest, it makes me a bit nervous knowing that they may already be a bit smarter than I am. Actually, you know what? They are smarter than I am. I've seen their resumes, their LinkedIns, and all of that, and definitely I was super impressed. I'm incredibly proud to serve alongside you and them this school year. They're supporting young people. Actually, supporting young people is not something that I like. It's actually something that I love. Because every time I work with the youth, I'm reminded of the future isn't something we wait for. The future is right here, sitting in those seats right there. And I'm ready for them to get to work because they're going to do some amazing things within our community. So Youth Council, congratulations. Get ready for a year of growth, but also a year of challenges. Let's make this year one that we'll actually look back on and be proud of. And let's go ahead and get sworn in. So, wait a minute. Okay, all right, so we'll call you one by one, and you'll come up, and then we'll do your oath. So we have returning our mayor for this year, Ms. Violet Brockman. Yep, you can come on up and line up, Violet. You can come. Mayor Pro Tem, we have Seth Van Limburgie. Our Secretary, Angika Shea. And then our new members for this year, we have Sanandika Dinesh Kumar. Ms. Victoria Zakusula. I'm gonna get it before the end of the school year. Caden Paul. I like the pen, man. Jeffrey Choi. And last and certainly not least, Ms. Nambura Selenin.
All right, we are now ready to swear in. If y'all could just kind of circle around here. All right, if you could all raise your right hand and repeat after me. And when I say state your name, don't say state your name, just say your name, okay? All right, I state your name. It's always hard, because there's multiple voices at the same time. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Georgia, and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Sugar Hill, and that I will, to the best of my ability, faithfully perform the duties as a member of the Youth Council of the City of Sugar Hill during my continuance therein. All right, congratulations, you are all sworn in. Let's do that. Y'all get to a stable point, I'll try to fit in here. And congratulations again to our youth council, and for the parents that were here tonight too. Thank y'all for coming and supporting your kids. And we're going to take care of them really well over the next year, and they're going to learn a lot, and they're also going to positively impact us in many ways that we can't even think of just yet. So, all right, we're going to now move on to reports, and I'll start with our city attorney, Mr. Hartley.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report for open session, but I have a need for executive session.
Thank you for letting us know. All right, so we'll start with City Council, and I'll start down here with Mr. Perkle.
Thank you, Mayor. No report.
Mr. Hicks.
Thank you, Mayor. No report.
I'm going to do no report as well. Anderson.
Thank you, Mayor. Mine's brief. We have a Riverlands Authority meeting this Wednesday at 5:30.
Ms. Avery.
All right, I do have a little bit of a report. I just wanted to say, it really has been a busy summer for Sugar Hill. And as we start the fall season, there are several important decisions that the council will be voting on in the coming months. On tonight's agenda is a public hearing for the 2025 millage rate and a discussion for a playground at Ridge Lake Park. Soon we will begin discussing the 2026 budget also. There is a very important election on November 4th, with early voting beginning in October. There are ongoing events as well as construction projects in the city, and the best way to keep informed is to check the city website or the Sweet Life newsletter. I highly encourage residents to attend council meetings and next week's special called meeting for the final millage rate adoption, as well as the upcoming budget meetings, which will be advertised later in the fall. Contact information for all the council members is on the city website. We are here for you, so please reach out at any time. I would also like to mention one other thing, and that is that September is Suicide Prevention Month. It is a difficult topic, but one that should not be avoided. Unfortunately, 800,000 people a year are lost to suicide. Two of the leading factors that contribute to suicide are isolation and feeling like a burden. Awareness, education, and compassion are keys to ending the stigma, and we all hold these keys. We live in a society where we want quick answers and figuring things out on our own and doing what's convenient, not necessarily what takes time, effort, and dedication. In one regard, mental health is a type of emotional cancer since people do not choose depression nor choose to become hopeless or overwhelmed with life. Reaching out to others and taking the time to talk and really listen to friends, relatives, neighbors, and all those we come into contact with can make a huge difference. It doesn't take a long conversation to make someone's day and make them feel important and cared about. This is something we can make a big effort to do this month, and then it will become more natural. Ask yourself, who did I make a difference to today? That difference could be the difference between life and death. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Avery. Mr. Page.
Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, of course, want to recognize our Public Safety Department, our marshals, and of course our partnership with Gwinnett County. I always appreciate that partnership. I think Gwinnett County has been doing a great job helping our marshals department, and I know we've had some activity in the recent past days, and I guess I just want to say, folks, be sure to lock your cars. It's a trivial thing. Just lock your doors on your cars. It's very simple. You can protect yourself and a lot of difficult times if you just lock your doors. We do have a couple concerts coming up here. We got Sawyer Brown coming up, and then Joe Nichols is coming up in a couple weekends. So we still got some tickets there. We do have the Theo Hutchins Task Force, Inclusive Task Force, and Sam is here, and Chelsea's. They have been doing a fantastic job with leading that. So if you are at all interested in seeing how we can make some more accommodations for our community in and around, not just so much here at City Hall, but playground initiatives and how we can really just get the word out of how we can be more inclusive with our folks with different abilities. So we'd love to have you join us there. And of course, last but not least, our farmers market is coming to a close. By the time we meet next month, it will no longer be here. So we hope you join us for a few more Tuesdays. So and with that, Mayor, concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Page. And I said I wasn't going to give a report, but I'll give you a couple, mark your calendars. Just wanted to remind everybody that this is homecoming week for Lanier High School. They have their homecoming parade in downtown Sugar Hill tomorrow. It starts at, well, they'll be here probably in downtown around 6:15 or so. They're going to leave Sugar Hill Elementary School at 6 on the dot. Actually, not on the dot. Usually, they're always late. So you just kind of have to wait around until they get down here. But that's a great tradition that we've done for the last several years or so. And it's great to see the football team, the cheerleaders, as well as the Linear Athletic Association, all the different, like from 1U up to however many U's there are. And so just come out here and have a lot of fun. The actual homecoming football game is Friday night out at the ranch. It's against Tequila. We should win that. But then the week after we play Gainesville, and that's going to be a tough game, as all of you know. Also, I just wanted to say thank you to Meg for talking about suicide awareness. That is something that's, I know it's important to her, and it's important to me as well. We've had a number of teenager suicides in our community over the last couple years. And I think at the beginning of the year, I mentioned a partnership between me and Sugar Hill Church and Lending Hope and all of our Lanier cluster schools. And we have actually been doing layman's training for suicide awareness and prevention. And that means someone other than just your typical school counselors. It means people like me. It means barbers and nail technicians, people that just interact with a lot of people today. We've actually trained over 90 people in our community to date on suicide awareness and prevention. And then in October, we have partnered with Lanier High School and North Gwinnett High School to train 15 peer leaders from each school so they can be eyes and ears in the schools for their peers. And what I'm really excited about is that North Gwinnett High School intends to do some internal programming after that training so that there is a permanent structure in place for other students to continue the training, but to also just have conversations so that they can overcome that stigmatism, which is so real and which is, I think, a big holdback from us being able to do more to something that's just kind of seems to be at a higher level these days than in past times. And so just wanted to give you an update on that, and I think that's a program that's doing some real good in our community. And that is it for me, and so I will hand it over to Ms. Whittington, our city clerk, for her report.
Just a short report, Mayor. The city issued 130 passports in the month of August with 97 passport photos. If you need a passport, just go online to the city's website or call our main City Hall number and set up an appointment. And we'll help you get your passport renewed in time for your event that's coming up, or if you just want to get a passport for any reason. Also, the city issued 17 new business licenses in August and 1 new ownership. Applebee's has a change in ownership, so we're looking forward to see if there's any changes there. And 17, a variety of businesses. It's all over the place, really. It's from nail salons, skin clinics, construction, massage, not massage, I take that back. It is stretching and various businesses. If you need a business license, come into City Hall or visit our website for everything that we've talked about today. Early voting does start October 14th and runs through the 31st, every day, 9 to 5, excluding Sundays. So keep that in mind as you go out to vote. We'll be down in the community room every day to assist everyone with voting. And then, of course, the election is November 4th. It's coming up fast, so just to get the word out about that, look on the website for any new updates on the election and election page. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Whittington. She was thinking about a massage because today is her birthday. So let's say happy birthday to Jen. Instead of a cake, we should have gotten you a massage. But we're thankful for Ms. Whittington and all that she does at City Hall and all the joy that she brings us. So, all right, Mr. Radford, it's time for your city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I submit again the September month in review for your edification, and I do want to have a few staff people and give some updates, but first, before you have our monthly training, education, and certification summary, and then I wanted to inform council that I've approved the attendance of Chief Smith for the Chiefs Association annual meeting in Denver. It starts next week and then runs for 3 or 4 days. Is it next week, right? Oh, October. Okay. October 14th? Okay. Oh, next week's Georgia. The other one is in Denver in October. And a lot of the command staff of the Georgia State Patrol, as well as Gwinnett, I think will be at that conference as well. So with that, I want to call on Avery to, she can dive into the details of the events of the past weekend, as well as the upcoming month. The Sawyer Brown concert was amazing. We didn't have any rain, though it was pouring rain all around. So,
Yes, that lightning decided to stay outside our 10-mile radius. We really appreciate it. Good evening. On Friday, as well as the Sawyer Brown concert, the Players Guild opened their show, The Mousetrap. It will continue through this Sunday. There are still tickets available through their website. Our final bowl concert of the season is Joe Nichols. That will take place on September 20th. This is also, as Councilman Page stated, the final month for farmers markets, as well as our Saturday morning yoga in the plaza. Tomorrow, as Mayor Hembry mentioned, is the Linear Homecoming Parade, which will take place in downtown at 6:30. It will begin near Sugar Hill Elementary, and the route will proceed along Level Creek, West Broad, and Church Street back to the starting point. They are going to have the bookmobile here. It'll be in the Upper City Hall parking deck. Sugar Hill Elementary is having a picnic in the plaza Wednesday from 4 to 8. Other events of note are the 12th is the Paint and Sip. There's a bowl rental on the 13th. Broad Street Concert Band is doing their Tunes and Tunes. Very punny. Concert on the 16th at 7 p.m. White Oak Elementary is having their Spirit Night at 5:30 on the 18th. The food fight kicks off on the 20th also with Swanee. That is at Swanee Fest is where it starts, and it ends on the last day of Sugar Rush. It is all weight-based. There are drop-off locations at the Eagle Theater, E-Center, and City Hall. Any more information you need is on the city website. The Children's Theater is doing 101 Dalmatians on the 27th and 28th of this month. Their shows are each at 2:30. And then we get into October, which, as most of you know, is the Everclear concert, the Murder Mystery Dinner, the Fabulous Equinox Orchestra concert, Sugar Rush kickoff concert, Sugar Rush, Trick or Treat on West Broad Street, Rocky Horror, and finally Beetlejuice with the Children's Theater. Any questions?
No questions, but I forgot one thing, and I don't normally do this, but you mentioned the Bookmobile tomorrow night at the Homecoming Parade, and I wanted to just briefly mention a citywide reading challenge that the mayor's office is partnering with our 3 elementary schools on that starts with the Bookmobile tomorrow night. It officially kicks off on September 22nd, which is Georgia Reads Day, that the Georgia Council for Literacy is promoting and encouraging. And then it'll wrap up with an award to the winning school, as well as the traditional story walk and bookmobile that we do in downtown Sugar Hill on November the 4th in the evening. And so that's another important part of the homecoming parade. We, like many other communities, are trying to get those literacy rates up. And so that is something that we're working together to try to accomplish. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, yes, the tent is going up the weekend of the 27th, I believe. The white tent that usually is over the ice rink we have up for Sugar Rush is going up slightly early so that we have it in place for the tea party, which is the album release party for the Life of the Showgirl, which will be taking place in the plaza. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Happy birthday, Jane. Coming off the heels of what Avery said about Sawyer Brown, during our security meeting with their security personnel, they really raved about the city and the venue that they were playing in. He's from Nashville, Tennessee, and he plays a lot of the venues up there, but they really thought highly of the Sugar Hills venue and what the city has going on. Our business watch continues to grow. We have several meetings last week. We have several more this week to get those partnerships going. Our vacation home request that we now have online is starting to gain a little bit more momentum. So we're getting a lot of those requests coming in for that. Last Thursday night, Marshall Parker and Kenan Sanford received an award through the Masons of Atlanta. So he went down to the lodge in Atlanta and received that award for both of them. Other than that, things are going pretty well. Great partnership with the Gwinnett County Police Department. And we just continue to grow with them. Yeah, it was, I guess about 2 years ago, there was a suicide there, and Parker and Kenan Sanford went there and provided support for those kids there. And that's how they learned about Kenan Sanford and his community service work that him and Michael Parker do in the community.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Paul. As always, the public project construction update is available on the city's website. You can click on that link on the screen to follow it to the full report, in addition to the manager's report in the back of the room. I'm going to highlight two particular projects that are going on currently and some of the larger construction activity in Sugar Hill. One is the Highway 20 Greenway Bridge project, and the project has finally reached a new milestone, which is the mobilization of Williams Concrete, which is the bridge subcontractor for OMSHIV. They did erect the crane last week, and the crane is going to be setting the foundations for the abutment and the bridge vents on the south side of Highway 20 first, before relocating to the north side of Highway 20 and working on that side over the month of October. So you'll see much of the activity going on Alton Tucker Extension, then moving to the north side. If I didn't say they were driving piles, I'll say it again. They're driving piles for the foundations for those two elements on this side and on the other side. So we have noticed the E-Center tenants about the anticipated vibrations and noise from that activity, but some of the other neighbors might also experience it as well. The second project I wanted to highlight was the Peachtree Industrial Boulevard and Spring Hill Sidewalk project. The Spring Hill sidewalks are substantially complete. The work on Peachtree Industrial, we've got about half of that work completed, so almost 800 feet of new enhanced sidewalk on the east side of Peachtree Industrial, and this connects the Park Ridge neighborhood across Pinecrest, and then it will connect up to Spring Hill. So that project is nearing its substantial completion date as well. With that, I'll just call your attention to the rest of the manager's report, including some updates on the Highway 20 widening, along with some greenway trail planning that we're doing on the north side of Highway 20.
Next, we'll recognize our youth council, if they would like to, for their report. Ms. Violet, good to have you.
First, we're really excited to welcome our new members this year, as well as our returning members. Excited to be serving as mayor this year alongside this wonderful group of people. In addition, we're looking forward to the Linear Homecoming Parade tomorrow. I believe most, if not all of our Linear members will be participating. In addition, we're excited to be trying to bring in a project initiative with the Youth Council this year to connect our community and also raise some funds and bring in supplies for the North Met Co-op this year. That is what we're working on right now. That is all for us.
Thank you. And I failed to mention that the homecoming parade is led by the marching band, and that's going to be pretty awesome as well. All right, next we'll move on to citizens and guest comments. And this is an opportunity for anyone to have 3 minutes to kind of come up and say what's on their mind about Sugar Hill. And so I will start that and ask if there's anybody that would like to take advantage of this time period. And if you could, just give your name and address for the record.
Hello, Council. Samantha Piovison, 5119 McEverview Drive in Sugar Hill. I wanted to provide a brief update on 2 large initiatives that we're working on for our Sugar Hill Inclusion Task Force. But first, I wanted to say a large thank you to Avery, Cameron, and Haiti. We have had a large request for utilization of our sensory room, and so it's becoming very popular for events around the city. We've partnered with Brightside Cafe and other local businesses to donate towards sensory toys, crayons, and different amenities to make that room safe and completely utilized and accommodating. The second would be that we are still gathering feedback from the community around our playground. So Chelsea and I will be present at 2 large events, the first being the Brightside Cafe Special Olympics on September 28th. We are taking our boards and we're gathering more feedback around amenities and equipment that could be utilized. The second will be that we also have a booth at Sugar Rush. So continuing to gather feedback from our community specifically on the amenities that they would like seen. And then we're also working with our events team to identify any sensory-friendly future events that we can integrate into our schedule as well. So could we do a sensory-safe Easter egg hunt? Could we do a sensory-safe visit with Santa? Thinking of how we can budget for things like that and be accommodating to all of the kiddos within our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. And there's also, I think the task force is doing their think tank meeting at September the 11th at Brightside Cafe, and tell us the time. At 7 o'clock. Okay, 7 o'clock. Good deal. All right. Anybody else that'd like to take advantage of this time? Yes, Ms. King.
Guess what I'm going to talk about? Oh. I'm going to talk about, I always talk about, because
And if you could, just give your address for the record. Thank you.
Marla King, 510 Emerald Parkway, Sugar Hill, Georgia, Emerald Lake subdivision with approximately 125 registered voters in Sugar Hill. I want to talk to you about the tabled application, AX 25007, 5853, 5875 Swanee Road, Swanee Dam Road, and 5868 Henry Bailey Road, 2.72 acres. An application for an assemblage of 4 parcels and for annexation and rezoning. I just want to keep it active in your thoughts for consideration to limit the ingress and egress to Swanee Dam Road for this project. Henry Bailey enters Highway 20 across from our subdivision of Emerald Lake, and we endure heavy, unsafe traffic from all directions, and it makes it difficult to exit our neighborhood. Also want to thank you for the recent modifications that have been put out front. It has helped in the morning when we exit. We had traffic, you just have to constantly look at every point check. It's narrowed down a few. We still have the volume, but it has funneled it some, so it's helped a lot. And we just want to keep the awareness level up. Thank you so much. I know this is tabled and it might be tabled again, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. King. I think it's going to be tabled till November, that's my understanding, but that'll be up to City Council what they want to do. All right, anybody else that would like to take advantage of this time for public comment? All right, I don't see anybody, so we'll close citizens and guest comments, and we'll move on to old business. And it is my understanding that the applicant is not ready with a new site plan, and so I'm actually just going to entertain a motion to table until the November meeting, if that is what the desire is. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to table AX 25002 at 5853 and 5875 Swanee Dam
Okay,
Road.
I have a motion to table until November from Mr. Page. Is there a second?
Second for discussion.
Yes, sir. Mr. Perkle?
Yes, I don't know if we are aware to what extent the modifications to the plan are going to take place, but as it is continuing to be delayed, at some point I think we need to consider withdrawal and restarting.
Don't disagree with you. The applicant has been unable to contact regarding that withdrawal, and we would obviously want to ask them to do that. So appreciate y'all just kind of hanging in there. You still good with your second? All right, I have a motion and a second to table until November. Any discussion before I call the vote? All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. All right, next we'll move on to new business, item number 2, and that deals with the millage rate. Mr. Radford, that is your presentation.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The city of Sugar Hill has tentatively adopted a 25 millage rate of 3.50 mils. This is the same millage rate that we had in 2024. For those who are not familiar with the process, state law requires cities, counties, and schools to advertise a tax increase whenever the previous year's millage rate would generate additional property tax revenue for the city than the previous year. We published the state-required notices on Sunday, August 24th, and Sunday, August 31st. Without this tentative tax increase of 4.23%, the 25 millage rate would be 3.358 mils. State law also requires cities and counties and school boards to hold 3 public hearings before considering the adoption of a millage rate. The first 2 hearings are being held today, one this morning and this one. Third and final one will be next Monday, the special called meeting of City Council in this chamber starting at 6 p.m. 2 factors have shaped the changes to the 2025 digest. Reassessments of existing properties resulted in a net increase of $77.5 million. And new additions, such as new construction, commercial development, or significant renovations, resulted in a net increase of $106.5 million. Our digest continues to become more balanced every year. The digest is now 73% residential and 27% commercial and industrial. Our digest diversification points to the halo effect of the East Center, our downtown, our investments in the Greenway, in parks and green space. A digest that is not totally reliant on residential taxes is more sustainable in the digest. A healthy and sustainable digest balance would be 60% residential and 40% commercial. This will not happen overnight, but we are moving in that direction. A digest not, as I said, not totally dependent on residential properties is homeowner friendly. The city's current millage rate of 3.5 mils was rolled back in 2023 and 2024. Before these actions, the millage rate had remained at 3.8 mils for 19 consecutive years. A stable millage rate has helped the city navigate disruptions from various uncontrollable events, such as high inflationary periods and economic forces that are beyond our control, certainly the global pandemic, and significant and unbudgeted weather events that damage city assets or consume staff resources. Since I've been the city manager, working together with council, we've been able to keep city service levels consistent and reliable, and in some cases, enhance the service levels. However, we must continue to be prepared for the next inevitable disruption, such as a slowdown in the economy, escalating prices for goods and services important to the work that cities do, major storm events that are increasing in frequency and intensity, or worse, a prolonged recession. The city has received a clean bill of health from our independent auditor for our 2024 annual financial report. This is the 12th consecutive year that we received this distinction. I'm proud of the work of our management team and staff. Their due diligence in record keeping and budget management is critical to our clean audits. As a city, our population is getting younger, with a median age now of 36.3 years. This bodes well for our sweet city. We are viewed as an attractive and thriving city where people want to live. The U.S. Census Bureau lists our 2025 population at 28,598. The city's largest population growth periods were between the 1990s and 2010. Our growth rates are smaller now and more manageable, but we continue to attract new people to our community, and we are a welcoming community. Our median household income has increased to $121,910. The city's broad spectrum of assets makes us an attractive place to not only live, but to work, invest, and raise the family, and even to visit. We've attracted over 1 million people to our downtown area over the past year. The city's 120 full-time and part-time employees come to work every day to make Sugar Hill a better place. They take pride in what they do, they manage, they maintain, and they nurture the assets entrusted to them with integrity and professionalism. Keeping the millage rate at 3.5 mils will result in a small increase in city property taxes. For example, a $475,000 homestead property would result in an increase of $2.25 a month, or 52 cents a week. $500,000 non-homesteaded property would result in an increase of $2.37 a month, or 55 cents a week. These amounts will be less for homesteaded properties after the city's standard 10,000 homestead exemption is applied, or for certain seniors, $20,000 homestead exemption. The increase in revenue will be offset by several factors, including an expected increase in the cost of construction supplies, rolling stock that our staff use to do their business, and health, workers' compensation, and property and liability insurance increases. Lastly, any city council approved increase in compensation for our valued employees, city employees, will also consume some of those resources. And our human resources are a good thing to invest in. One last point, city property taxes are but one input into your property tax bill. Gwinnett County schools and Gwinnett County government comprise 88% of a homeowner's total tax bill. So taking the $475,000 homesteaded property as an example again, the total 2025 tax would look like this. Gwinnett County Public Schools, $3,553. That's 64% of the tax bill. Gwinnett County General Operations, $1,321, 24% of your property tax. And the city of Sugar Hill, $665, or 12% of the property tax bill. So with this as background, and with the 2023 and 2024 millage rate rollbacks, and the city homestead increase from $2,000 to $10,000, I am recommending the millage rate remain at 3.5 mils for 2025. Mayor and council, this concludes my remarks.
Thank you. I think that means that you ran out of time anyways, or you were close to it, so good job. I just want to talk a little bit about the process. And so our charter actually provides that the city manager advertise and make a recommendation to city council. And as far as I know, and I've looked all the way back to 2005, that is always the way that it has been done. It is a suggestion, and City Council, they obviously have the final decision after the public hearings are held. So I just wanted to dispel some myth and some criticism out there of where it came from. I will say that I'm going to support whatever City Council does ultimately, but that when a city manager makes a recommendation, they're doing that because they are involved in the day-to-day business, and so we should always respect the opinion of the city manager, even though we may decide to do something differently than what the city manager recommends. And so just wanted to say that. Before I open up public hearing number 2, are there any questions of the city manager? Mr. Anderson.
Paul, I've got 2 questions for you. First off, could you, I missed it. What did you say the monthly increase for, I think it was it $475,000 homesteaded? What was it? Okay, thank you. And then the other question I had for you is regarding House Bill 581. I had shared some information with council back in January about that upcoming change to the way assessments are done next year, not this year, but next year. It might be helpful just to have a brief explanation of what that will mean going forward, because decisions this year will have a rolling effect into next year as a result of that legislative action.
Just to refresh everybody's memory who went to the ballot box several years ago when there was a statewide constitutional amendment to approve a statewide floating homestead exemption. House Bill 581 is the bill that implemented that by the General Assembly. All taxing authorities, including public schools, counties, and cities, were given the option to opt out of that. And I'll explain what the opt-out, opt-in looks like. Most school boards across the state opted out, including our own school board, and so did Gwinnett County. Most cities in Gwinnett did not opt out because the law also provided an opportunity, if all taxing authorities did not opt out, to put before the voters a 1% sales tax for property tax relief, called a FLOST, Floating Local Option Sales Tax. But we cannot do that now, given that the county opted out of the law. Starting in 2026, here's the details of how this will work. And moving forward, as City Council Member Anderson pointed out, annual increases in property assessments for city property owners, except for new additions to the tax digest, will be capped at the Consumer Price Index-U rate as established by the Commissioner of the Georgia Department of Revenue. This will, by definition, will provide significant control over the reassessment process. The city's $10,000 homestead exemption will be layered on top of that capped amount, offering further tax relief. So reducing our millage rate further will only make the effect of HB 581 significantly worse for city operations and service delivery levels. And I strongly recommend that the City Council delay any action on rollbacks until the full effect of the guardrails and limitations on the assessment process under 581 takes effect.
All right, any other questions before I open up public hearing? Mr. Perkle, yes, sir.
So in the packet for our meeting this morning, there was a 3-page attachment, the first of which had notice of proposed property tax increase. The third was the digest in the article, and the second had the larger version of the 5-year history of the levy. In the narrative, it says a tentative tax increase of 4.23%. In the 5-year history of the levy in the bottom right-hand corner, it indicates 10.63. Do we know how to resolve that difference?
Yes.
Okay.
The 4.3% on the form that we're required to publish by the Department of Revenue is the percentage rollback in the millage rate.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So if we look at that 5-year history of the levy going back to 2022, We had an increase of 28%. In 2023, there's an increase of 12%. Last year, we went down, -2%. This year's proposing a 10.63% increase. If we just average those over the 4 years, or total them, that's 48%. If we average that over the 4 years, that's 12% a year. I certainly think that's excessive. My salary has not risen anywhere near to that level, and I think continuing at that rate could be a hardship for a lot of property owners that are struggling with, the higher cost of insurance and just the cost of the house going up, taxes going up, not only here, but in areas we can't contain with the school board and with the county. And so with those in mind, I would like to see us reduce that rate from a 10% increase. I'd like us to at least consider going with the rollback rate. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Mr. Anderson.
I think it's important as we look at those rates too, that we acknowledge that those rates also include new construction within the city as well, which there has been significant high-value projects that have been constructed in the city in that time frame. So there is, it's not 12% per individual resident or housing unit. That's inclusive of new construction. As Mr. Radford pointed out, I think tonight, 106.5 million of that new valuation is from new construction alone, as opposed to 77.5 of reassessments. So just looking at averages on percentages, while that's important, it doesn't tell the whole story as far as what percentages of that is from new construction, and as our city continues to grow, how that impacts operations for the city. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'm going to open up the public hearing and ask if there's anyone that would like to take advantage of the time. And if you could, just give your name and address for the record.
Hello, you guys. My name is Kaylee Weiland. I reside at 5623 Riverside Walk Drive in Sugar Hill. And our manager mentioned that a digest is not fully dependent on residential tax income, quote, at 9:30 this morning. Sorry, it's not fully dependent on residential tax income, is balanced, humble, and friendly. I could not agree more with that. That's why I think that it's imperative that we take a step back from the list of hard events that the government has had to overcome recently, and instead highlight the accomplishments that the citizens of Sugar Hill have had to endure. I want to present a personal real-life example. Last year, the council was able to roll back the millage rate and still put forth an annual budget that is, quote, keeping the city service levels consistent, reliable, and in some cases enhanced. Even with this rollback in place, there was an increase in my equity for $180 a month, okay? This is a real life example, okay? My insurance went down $4. Right. That's a utility bill, a grocery trip, a coding class for your children. So the citizens of Sugar Hill do not get reimbursed for their time spent doing the math for these adjustments, but there are salaries in this room that could cover our mortgages in whole. The best vote of confidence that the City Council could give our community is a millage rate rollback for 2025. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? And I think you meant to say that you could not disagree more. You said, actually, I could not agree more.
I can agree that you said we need to stand back.
No, actually, that's okay. Thank you for the clarification. Mr. Schultz.
Hi, Andrew Schultz.
I appreciate your public comment. Thank you. Mr. Schultz.
Andrew Schultz, 5350 Windswept Trace, Sugar Hill, Georgia. I appreciate her comments. I am one of those taxpayers. I get to pay for a lot of taxes, and it's very difficult. We're in a difficult situation. The people that actually reside in the city of Sugar Hill. We're faced with a lot of problems as well. If you want to talk about the pandemic or whatever you want to say, we're faced with it worse than anyone. We're the ones that are paying the higher property tax. We're the ones trying to figure out how we're going to make ends meet. A new truck, whatever you need, not a problem. I'm driving a 2001 Chevy Silverado with 300 and something thousand miles on it. No one's going to come and offer me a new truck. I appreciate you paving my road. If it wasn't for a couple council members, that would have never happened. I appreciate getting something back out of my tax dollars. But rolling back the millage rate would be the right thing to do. I'm glad your digest is growing. I'm glad we're prospering. But it's at what cost to the citizens that you represent? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Anybody else wish to take advantage? Public hearing number 3, this coming Monday at 6 p.m. All right, next we'll move on to Planning Commission appointment, and that is Ms. Avery has that one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Last month, a vacancy is on the Planning Commission right now because last month, Mark Daniels, who was a current member, was required to resign when he qualified as a candidate for the upcoming election. Mr. Daniels is no longer a candidate, and I would like to reappoint him to the Planning Commission. I've been to the Planning Commission meetings, and I appreciate that Mr. Daniels does put in some research and asks some really good questions, and so therefore I would like to make a motion to reappoint Mark Daniels back on the Planning Commission to finish out his term.
So we actually don't do motions, we take a nomination, but I'll accept that as your nomination. And are there other nominations?
Mayor Henry, I would like to put forth a additional potential nomination. That would be Michael Masha. He lives in the North Mark subdivision right off of Buford Highway and Woodward Mill. He's I guess a newer citizen since those are built, I guess, about 3 years ago. He's a younger gentleman, and he could not be here tonight, but I think he'd be a great addition to our Planning and Zoning Board. And
All right, so I have 2 nominations. Are there any other nominations? All right, so I'll start with the first nomination for Mark Daniels. All those in favor of appointing Mark Daniels, please raise your right hand. All right, all those that would support appointing Michael Masha to the Planning and Zoning Commission, please raise your right hand. Okay, so Mr. Masha is appointed, and I know that he's not here tonight. At least I don't think he is, but we will, he can come in and be sworn in at any time. Jane and I can administer the oath to him. Doesn't need to be a city council meeting. All right, next we'll move on to item number 4, and that is for Ridge Lake Park Playground design, and I'll give that to Mr. Basesh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We discussed this at the work session, and I've got a few updates for you that were in the packet, but I want to show you some other graphics that go with the memo. This phase of the Ridge Lake Park development consists of the design and construction of a new playground at the park. It includes a poured-in-place surface for the play equipment for fall protection. Shown on this rendering are some of the other improvements in future phases based on public input that we've engaged over the last 5 or so years. They include additional parking, a pavilion, terrace seating, pathways, and trails through the park, a fishing dock, and some other amenities in and around a future pavilion. Right now, there's a restroom building, a picnic pavilion, paver parking for 44 vehicles, a large dog park, small dog park, pollinator garden, 9-hole disc golf course, unpaved walking trails, a fishing pond, and a 1/8 mile paved walking track around the dog park. So there's a good number of improvements at the park already, and we're just fitting in a few more as funding becomes available and as we work through the implementation of this master plan. During the procurement phase for this particular phase, staff determined that the original location for the playground was too steep for its intended use without some significant grading and earthwork. Staff then proposed a new location to the south of the dog park on the east side of the open field, and forgive me, this graphic is oriented with north to the left of the image and east to the top of the page. So you'll see the red the red arrow indicates where we moved the trail, the playground from its original location to the new proposed location on the east side. The location provides the topographic advantages I mentioned, but also provides natural shade in the early part of the day, good visibility for supervising play, and is near a future pavilion. The new playground location is reflected very conceptually on the display with approximate distances to the two ponds on the property. While the concern for safety is paramount, the new location is actually further from the edge of the water. Nevertheless, I think staff will propose the addition of fencing and FF&E benches to the project in early '26 in order to enhance the safety and security at the playground. So as you'll see on the right side of the image is the proposed location for the new playground with the dimension to the pond. This is a rendering from one of the proposals that gives you an idea of the type of play equipment that they are proposing. We issued the RFP in June with 8 proposals received in August. Playground project proposals were received, reviewed with 3 shortlisted vendors for a final round of consideration. These types of structures are part of the proposed play equipment for the vendor that staff would like to recommend. With some of the visuals that I presented last week. I'm going to forego the animation, but it is very impressive, so I might ask them to upload it on the website should you find it decision favorable tonight. So with that, I want to tell you that we went through the evaluation of the top 3 vendors, and we feel like the Playground Creations presentation and proposal is the one that best suits the city's needs, with a price of $289,322.62. So our recommendation is for approval and authorization for the mayor to sign the agreement. We did hear at the last meeting that it was important to bring the final design to the council. When that's available, we'll bring that in October or at the latest November. And I would like to suggest that if there are some questions, I would like to ask Andy to help me answer those questions.
Sounds good. Thank you for clarifying the distance issue as well, and also wanted to point out the older location that is on a much steeper slope, and if a kid were to get running, they would be flying down a hill versus having a greater distance in kind of a flatter area, so probably safer in both of those aspects. But all right, I know there were questions at work session. Yes, Gary, Mr. Perkle.
So, yeah, a couple of things, Mayor. Some concerns I mentioned at the work session, which I feel have been addressed here. One was with the new location that we might consider a fence, which we have mentioned. The additional thing is having the approval of the design before it goes to the build stage, which is also in there, I believe, scheduled for October. The only other comment I would make there is based on the illustration there, and that may not be enough to judge by, but it looks rather sparse in terms of amount of equipment. I would have no problem after the initial design comes back, if we still feel that way, in adding to the budget to make it a more comprehensive playground. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Mr. Perkle. Any other questions? Mr. Page?
I'm just in agreements with Mr. Perkle in terms of it does look a little sparse. So, once we get final design back, might be food for thought there to add some more. But thank you for doing the research and the measuring of exact locations and everything.
Maybe Mr. Basesh did the digital design. I don't know, or somebody else did it. Ms. Avery, did you have a question or comment? sorry.
I do, thank you, Mayor. I also was concerned about the safety and the location, and to me, actually seeing it in person instead of on a map is what worked best for me. So I met with Troy and Andy at the park on Thursday morning. Troy, you mentioned shady early in the day. We were there at 9:45. There was not that much shade. When I looked at the location of the pond, and I could actually see that it is further away, but one of the things that I thought would really enhance the playground is to have some type of seated retaining wall similar to what is at Robinson Park at the splash pad, because if someone is seated at that seated retaining wall with their back to the pond, not only does that provide a place for parents to sit down or a child to come up and eat a snack, there's also a barrier between the playground and the pond. So I would really like to see the seated retaining wall and possibly with some type of cover on it, very similar to the one at the splash pad in Robinson Park. I think that would really enhance that area. And I would, Troy and I and Andy discussed that, and that certainly is a definite possibility and one that I would really like to see happen. Also, I think this is a great plan. I agree that we could add some more equipment. One of the things that I looked at when I saw the designs was the sail shades. And I know that it's been discussed that those are temporary, and perhaps sometime in the future we could come back and put a more permanent structure for shade. And I would like to see what the price difference would be, because it's been over 10 years since Sugar Hill built a playground. It would be great to see this done completely and just right the first time around, and not have to go back and add something in a year or two for more shade. So if we're talking about a more permanent structure for shade, this would also be the time to talk about that. That would also help with the surface of the playground to protect it from the elements and from the sun. So that would also be a factor for that, for the surface. The other thing I'd like to mention is, in addition to the seated retaining wall, is that Gwinnett County Parks and Recreation has a program with Gwinnett Parks Foundation, in which a person or a group of people or an organization can have a bench or a glider swing type of bench donated. And the county has several parks where these really nice benches are, and then they will put a plaque on the bench or who it was donated, either in memory of or in honor of. And with the way that our city is growing with parks and greenway space, I think it would be really great for the city to have some type of park, some type of foundation for residents to be able to contribute toward a bench and with the plaque. And I'd like to see that started. This would be a good time to start thinking about that, since we're growing the greenway and now adding another playground. The other thing that I wanted to mention, when I saw that there were these 3 companies that were being considered for our playground, I looked up the city's first choice, Playground Creations, and I noticed that they did the build and design for Little Mulberry Park in Decula, which is excellent. I've been there several times. They also did 4 city parks in Lilburn. So they must be doing something right to be able to go back 4 times in the city of Lilburn. They also did the McDaniel Farm Park in Duluth, which is really great and very creative. I really like that. They've also done some inclusive playground work. We have a terrific inclusive playground at White Oak Elementary, and I think it would be a great idea for our rec staff to go out and take a look at the playground at White Oak Elementary and have a visual of something that's so close by and right in our cluster. The other 2 companies that were in the lineup did not have as much information on their websites. I was really impressed with the website for Playground Creations, and as I say, I'm very familiar with the playgrounds they have done, and they're just terrific. So I certainly am willing to go ahead with the playground, but I would also like to see more community input, especially once we finalize a design. So we could talk about that again in October, of how to get some more community input for the playground from the council and the public. And that concludes my comments. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Ms. Avery. So it sounds to me like everybody's kind of okay moving forward with this initial phase of it, and that other parts could be phased in over time. And so I know we would probably have to address that in next year's budget as we look at that capital improvement budget. But, all right, yes, Mr. Anderson. So I'll call you up in just a minute.
This is a question either for Andy or Troy regarding the equipment spacing. My understanding in the world of legalities these days that the equipment usually has like a safety halo around it so that kids spinning on something don't run into or don't get kicked by somebody on a swing. That's probably, I would assume, showing the footprints here probably incorporate that safety halo that goes around the equipment. So it sounds to me like if we're going to put more equipment out there, we'd actually have to expand the scope of the area that the playground would be in. Is that fair?
That is exactly what I was going to walk up here and say, just so that there was clarity on what you're looking at from a design. The space available is what can be designed in the space that's there. If we decide on this design, which was what went out in the RFP in July and June, once it gets to here, especially if we go with the pour-in-place material, concrete bands and/or sidewalks that have already enclosed in this area, new apparatuses would almost be impossible to put in. Exchanges could happen. New might not be able to fit within the landscape of that. When adding in retaining walls, which I do believe is a good idea, Ms. Avery, you again go ahead and you close in your footprint to be able to expand within that footprint. If you want to then increase, you can, but then the look of the initial would look completely different. So thank you, Mr. Anderson. That's actually what I was going to come up to mention.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, is there a motion on this item?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to award a contract to Playground Creations for the design and construction of a new playground at Ridge Lake Park in the amount of $289,322.62 and authorize the mayor to sign the contract.
All right, thank you. I have a motion from Mr. Anderson. Is there a second? A second from Mr. Perkel. Any discussion before I call for the vote? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Okay. Next, we'll move on to item number 5, and that is the LMIG 2026 application. Mr. Bisesh.
LMIG stands for Local Maintenance Improvement Grant Program. It is administered by the Georgia Department of Transportation. This is something that we apply for annually. The 2026 allocation is, I got ahead of myself, is some $287,574.39. We have a budget of about $1 million for road resurfacing and repairs this 2026, I should say. These 14 streets were determined by Public Works staff and our Violetic software to be those that are most in need and in areas where they can be grouped together for efficiency's sake. They are in these 3 neighborhoods, Laurel Springs, Oaks at Lanier, Sycamore Summit. They total some 3.26 miles of roadway segments. And the average PCI index, which is a rating of the road condition, is 36, so it's pretty low. And this is knocking out some of our poor streets in the city of Sugar Hill. One of the questions at the work session was, well, how are we doing on index and the average for the entire road network? I think I did some rough calculations because we haven't driven the city back again after The last set of roads were completed or are being completed this month. And it is getting closer to 70, but we're not quite there yet. So move from 66 to 69 average. So moving in the right direction, and we're chipping away at it little by little. We do anticipate some additional funding in 2026 that will add some more streets. So we'll probably be at the $1.3 million range like we were this year in 2026. So we've got a grouping that is ready for that additional funding when it becomes available. So the recommendation is to approve this list of streets to be submitted for LMIG 26 and authorize the mayor to sign the documents.
Thank you, Mr. Basesh. Any questions? All right, is there a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign and submit the application for the fiscal year 2026 Georgia Department of Transportation Local Maintenance and Improvement Grant Program for improvements to the proposed list provided in the staff memo.
All right, I have a motion. Please raise your right hand. Okay. Next, and certainly not least, is item number 6. Sorry, Ms. Carney, to make you wait this long. Mr. Basesh, that's your item as well.
I did fail to mention there were a couple other comments at the work session about the paving, just very quickly, 20 seconds. We are taking a look at the curb and gutter along these roads and adding new signage for areas that we repave. So I failed to mention that.
Mr. Anderson's going to go home and celebrate because of that. All right, next up, please.
Okay, the boundary line agreement was contemplated during discussion of the design review process for the Vets Off Leash at 1125 Whitehead Road in order to provide for their construction of a detached garage and structure and allow the city to proceed with construction of a fence along the southern boundary of the cemetery. Negotiations and surveying has taken the better part of 2025 to get done, a little bit like Georgia Power utility relocation. But we have achieved a mutually agreeable solution. The boundary agreement prepared by Mr. Hartley accomplishes that goal. In addition, and in order to avoid taking down trees at the site, staff and the property owner agreed upon the terms of a permanent easement for the fence at the back of 1125, as shown by the dash line on the screen. Staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Basesh. Any questions on this item? All right, is there a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the boundary line agreement for 1125 Whitehead Road. It is common boundary with the cemetery, and approve a construction easement for a fence at the same location, and authorize the mayor to execute the documents.
All right, I have a motion from Mr. Page. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Hicks. Any discussion before I call the vote? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Okay, and that concludes our business on the agenda. As mentioned earlier, we do have a need for a legal conversation, an executive session, and then we'll come out after that. Thank you. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session to discuss legal, real estate, and/or personnel matters.
I have a motion from Mr. Anderson. Is there a second?
I'll make a second.
All right, second from Mr. Page. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, we're going to go into executive session. So we are, Jane is ready, and we are back from executive session. We discussed one legal matter, and that is it. But we have no action to take outside of executive session, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn our September City Council meeting. Mr. Page.
Mayor Henry, thank you for the recognition. I would like to make an official motion to end our September 8th, 2025 City Council meeting.
Have a motion. I thought it was going to be longer or something. I have a motion from Mr. Page. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, second from Mr. Perkle. All those in favor of adjourning, please raise your right hand. All right, we are adjourned.